I hope everybody is doing well. This is actually going to be the first video I post on this channel. I'll be making this cherry charcuterie board right here. It's got super cool grain, nice shape to it, live edge on one edge as well. Let's get right into it. So the first step was finding a gorgeous piece of wood, and in this case I used a live edge piece of cherry that was some scrap that I had lying around. I went ahead and marked the length that I wanted to cut this piece at, brought it over to the miter saw. This is my Bosch miter saw. I've had it for quite some time, absolutely love it. I made sure to use the clamp that comes with it to clamp this piece down, especially since it's live edge and it can't be pushed up flat against the fence. I want it to be as safe as possible. If you look closely in this clip, you can actually see down the center of the piece of live edge wood, there is a little bit of a rough spot still. So the next step was bringing it over to the planer and bringing it down to its final thickness. It came out to around 7/8 thick. Now that I've got the board to its final thickness, I'm going to bring it back over to the workbench. I'm going to trace the template on there, figure out where I need to drill that hole, and where I'm going to cut the handle. After I got the board traced out, I brought it over to the drill press, put a 1.5 inch Forstner bit in there, started drilling. Did take probably about a minute or so because my Forstner bit is really dull right now and I need to get some better ones. After that, I went and got my Bosch jigsaw out and clamped my piece to my workbench, started cutting out the handle as well as the curve along the bottom, and I actually decided to keep one edge live edge, as you can probably see. I thought it'd just be a nice added touch. After I got as close as I could to the template lines with the jigsaw, I brought the board over to my rigid oscillating belt sander and started sanding the handle as well as the curve to get all of those jigsaw lines out. Here I am switching out the bit on my rigid palm router to a 1/2 inch roundover bit. It really depends on the thickness of the board, but usually anything from 7/8 to 1 inch thick I'll do a 1/2 inch roundover on. And now I'm on to the long and treacherous task of sanding. I'm starting off with 120 grit here. Here I'm using Starbond adhesives, medium thick clear CA glue, and some accelerator to fill these small knots and voids on the board. Now I'm actually water popping the board, and what I mean by that is I'm actually raising the grains of the wood, and what that does is it prevents it from feeling rough after it's washed for the first few times. After that air dries completely, I move on to my final grit, which is 220 in this case. After I'm done with the orbital sander, I move on to hand sanding lightly, just to get rid of any rough spots that I missed. After it soaks in for some time, I wipe off any excess residue, and the board is completely finished. And here are a few final photos of the board after I got all that oil wiped off. Thank you all for sticking to the end, watching along while I make this gorgeous cherry board. It is available if anybody is interested. Feel free to email me, shoot me a message on Instagram, something like that. And please like, subscribe, that sort of stuff. And I'll talk to you guys next time. See ya.